So I have finally finished this season of Ventures. And you get to witness the strange bug I have in my game at the moment where it takes a really long time to open the mission rewards. And you wonder each time, is the game going to crash or not? So this final challenge and this final mission should be enough to tip me over into level 50 of Ventures. The season's been out for 2 weeks tomorrow. So I did it in pretty good time this year, and mostly in pubs actually, for quite a bit of the way. Also with the help of some of the other players on Diggy's server, so thank you for those who helped me. What I wanted to do, because Diggy did a video on this, and I thought it was a great idea, which was show you my hero loadouts that I use a lot in this season of Ventures. The modifier for this season of Ventures is called escalation, so that just means you do a bit of extra damage to husks over time if you keep killing them. But apart from that, it doesn't really require a very specific play style or any make any particular heroes any better than others. So I've pretty much been, let me skip right to the end. So this is the loadout I've been playing the most frequently. This is my go-to constructor loadout, and the reliable base Kyle as the main. Some people main Ice King, and that's kind of handy, you know, if you have one of each in the mission. And I just take recycling because I never have time to farm, so it's quite handy. Mega base, power modulation. I've been running just some utility heroes in the support, but you could run wherever you wanted. This was just to make me a bit tankier in the later zones, make me a bit faster. And then Gadgeteer is kind of handy for decreasing the cooldown, especially if you're doing like a stall build where you've got your slow field and banner and you're rotating those. Gadgeteer helps that go a bit quicker, but yeah, so this is probably the loadout I've been playing the most on average. I do also play this hero quite a lot in the earlier zones of Ventures, and basically she's focused around doing additional Teddy damage with a bit of additional shock tower damage, and because she's an Outlander, then I'll just show you her perk. Yeah, she increased Teddy damage, and both of these two support heroes increase Teddy damage as well. Yeah, because she's an Outlander, it means you can do a little bit of farming as you go as well. Happy Holidays, that reduces the cooldown of your ability. So this is kind of a Teddy focused damage build. But what I find is as you get into the higher levels, then it's not as good. It's just not as effective in terms of the amount of damage that you do. So if I want a damage build in the higher levels, this is the build that I bring. So this build, I call it Scorch Stash, because it's focused around Dragon Scorch as the main, Blakebeard Stash as the team perk, and you don't even need weapons because it provides its own weapons. And this build absolutely shreds in like encampments and that kind of stuff. You can speed run them even at the very highest levels. So essentially, Blakebeard's Stash is one of these little chests you see around, and it gives you coconuts, it gives you peg legs, which is a club, and it gives you cannonballs. And so these three heroes activate the Blakebeard Stash team perk, but they also kind of, in particular, these two do extra damage with the peg leg and with the cannonballs. So once you get those little stashes, then you can just start shredding the encampments or the husk hordes. It's getting them at the beginning that's a little bit tricky because it's RNG, so sometimes you'll get tons at once and sometimes it'll just take a while. Yeah, Fleet, this is the one that you could change out for anybody really, but again, for speedrunning encampments, that's handy. And this hero, Tail of the Dragon, she does energy damage trail. And yeah, I just put airstrike and stationary hover turret. So the coconuts give you extra health, so you don't even need any kind of tanky heroes or any extra health perks. So yeah, this is my favorite ninja build, just in general, but yeah, I've been running it a lot in Ventures. So there's two other builds that I've been running a little bit in Ventures. Let me find. So this one, just sometimes I've been playing with the squad and they've said, can you bring a soldier? And this is the soldier I've brought. It does extra damage to your going commandos, and then the Happy Holidays gives you going commando cooldowns. This is really a going commando build, with a bit of tankiness through survivalist and bomb suit, and the adrenaline rush, because it is quite easy to die in this build. You have to be quite careful. So yeah, this is just kind of a fun going commando soldier build that I like. And then for like build the radar and for the resupply, then I'll bring this build here, which is just a farming build basically. I would not recommend playing this in any mission other than a farming focused mission. Like, she's not going to do much damage at all. Yeah, so those are my Ventures builds. I'm going to go spend some of my Superchargers. So here are the Superchargers I've got from this season of Ventures. I think there were 6 hero Superchargers. I think I've already spent one. And I already spent 7 Survivor Superchargers, so I've got 17. I may have had 1 trap already, so you get 3 trap. And similarly, I think you maybe get 5 weapon. I already had 1. Yeah, so I know how I'm going to spend my Survivor Superchargers, but I'm not sure about the others actually. So if you have any tips for me, then let me know. So I'm now done this Fortitude squad, and I can start on this one. Sorry about the super slow game. As I said, recently it's just been... I've had quite a few bugs with like disconnection and so on. It's not my internet connection, so I'm not quite sure whether something is a bit glitchy in the game at the moment. That it just seems to be taking ages. Alright, so that's all for this season. I've made it almost up 1 level, so I guess there's going to be another 5-ish seasons of Ventures before I make it to max power level. Oh, that's like a year. But yeah, in terms of my schematics, I don't know what I'm going to level up next. I'm just going to scroll through, and if you're watching this and you have any suggestions of which of my 130s I should promote, then let me know. But as for traps, so the thing about trap superchargers are that they increase damage and they increase impact, but they don't increase knockback. So it's better to supercharge your damage based traps first. Things like launchers aren't always worth supercharging because you'll get some extra impact, but it's not going to push the husks any further back. So maybe retractables would be the obvious choice. Alright, so that's everything from me for this season's Ventures. If you do have any specific questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. But yeah, I'm quite happy that I've now finished. I can just take a break from ventures for a few months and maybe get doing some building. So yeah, look out for some building videos in the future.